Okay, let's start by having a look in the blister, see what we've got. So the most important thing, I suppose, is going to be the figures themselves. There you can see 3 sprues, 2 of them are the same, one slightly different. It's got the anti-tank rifle and light mortar, radio man there. So there's 3 sprues of infantry. Got our bases, and I believe this the contents will allow you to make company command and second in command, as well as a platoon command, and that's for each blister, so we'll see how that works out. And then we've got the little slip and the cards. Well, one thing about the little slip, it's quite useful if you're unsure what the figures are and need a bit of help, if you're new to the game, new to the theatre, or British infantry perhaps in mid-war. So it's quite handy. It's got some pictures of finished products as well, which always helps, and it's not something you would normally see on just a blister. And then we've got the cards, so Motor Company HQ with some information, some more information. There's the motor platoon itself with the special rules and its stats and movement orders. So it's quite a packed little blister. Going back to the figures themselves, the much talked about bendy plastic, and I don't know if you can see there, but there is certainly some issues with some of the weapons where they are bent. I shall be seeing how easy it is to get them back into shape with some hot water. But my first impression about these figures, leaving aside any thoughts or concerns people might have about the material itself, is that the cast hasn't been very good on these. Every one of them has got really, really noticeable mould lines that go over lots of detailed areas, such as the folds in the sock there, the shape of the leg, over the top of the helmet. It's going to take quite a lot of clean-up. Now, I've seen other plastic, this flexible plastic figures where there's been almost no clean-up required. This might just be a bit of a dodgy batch, but I'll go through that clean-up process with you guys next, just so you can see what effect files or knives have and how easy it is, or otherwise, to get this flash of the figures so they're ready for painting. So, my thoughts on cleaning these guys up. Well, I started by trying a file, but files were no good. They just really tore the surface up. So I got stuck in with my knife, and it was torture. The material wouldn't come off the figure. Then I said, stop, things aren't working right, think about it, what's happening, what have you not tried? So I just got out another blade I had lying around, and this one's nice and sharp. That made all the difference, folks. You really just need to be taking your really sharp blade to the mould line, and it'll snip it off. As long as you're not digging in too much, and that came off straight away, as long as you're not digging in too much, there'll be no flakes sticking to the figure. So that's key. A really, really sharp knife, catch the mould lines as much as possible. Sometimes the mould lines might be going over detail, it might be tricky, but just catch the mould lines and it'll come away nice and easily. Now these guys, you might see they're still a wee bit shiny where I've dipped them in some boiling water, and the bent barrels just straightened up by themselves, which is what we were told would happen, so that's a good result. So, one other thing, this sprue here needed very little cleanup, almost none, so I think there was just a couple of dodgy casts. So if Battlefront can keep their quality control in place with these guys, it will make a big difference in people accepting them as a new material. So sharp knives, oh, and because it's sharp, now you notice that they're really bendy, especially like barrels and things. You have to hold them quite tightly. Don't hold them at the base and then start cutting away, because it's going to start moving around. So you've got to hold it a bit further up, for instance, and then, you know, make your cut. So you've got to be very careful. Obviously you're not going to cut yourself, guys. It would be very, very easy with a sharp knife to do that. So I'm going to do a quick run over, make sure there's nothing being missed. No bits of material, for instance there, that are still stuck to the figure. Oops. And then I shall be ready to put my usual undercoat on and start my usual painting process, the layering process on these guys. Now, I'm going to be making a separate video where you'll see the painting of one of these guys start to finish, every brushstroke, as part of my How to Paint Flames of War Minis series. But I will be stopping what I'm doing as I'm going through and just showing you what progress looks like, and if there's any issues around the painting of this new material. But watch how you're holding them, be very careful, and get a proper sharp knife and you'll be fine, guys. That's me undercoated the guys. Now, I found that to be an extremely easy process. Undercoating can be a chore, but these guys took the paint very, very well. In fact, I only had to give them one coat and then do a tidy up. Now that's partly because the sculpts don't necessarily have the level of depth that you might see in a metal sculpt, where you have to make sure the paint goes quite deep into recesses. But there's no denying that this material took the paint very well. This figure here has had just one coat, so that saved a bit of time. So I'm going to be getting on with the painting. I've split them into batches. The main uniform colour is going to be, now normally I just work in undercoat, which is the shade colour, and then a main coat and a highlight, but because the main uniform colour is quite light, it's going to be Panzerace's Old Wood, I'm going to put a coat on to begin with of US Field Drab. This will act as an additional shade coat as well as an undercoat, so I'll be trying to leave some of that exposed. And then my highlight will be Iraqi Sand. I'll come back when the uniforms are done and show you how that's looking, and then we'll move on to all the other various pieces of equipment, boots, socks and such likes. So that is the uniform colours on. That's the 3 layers. Normally, as I said before, I would only do 2 layers, but this, I didn't want them looking too bright. But that's the uniform colours on. Next I shall be going on to the rest of the fabrics. That's webbing, backpacks, socks, everything, and that's going to be done with green grey and splinter camel base. 1 second. Excuse me folks, just so you can see, that's green grey 886 and then Panzerace's splinter camel base 345 as the highlight. Now, finding all the shapes on the uniform was really easy and straightforward with the way these figures have been sculpted. There was no great difficulty. Using the layering technique, and I think dry brushing you'd probably be fine as well, because there is plenty of raised areas for you to touch with a brush. So far so good as far as the painting goes. So I'm going to do all the fabric areas and we'll come back after that for the finishing touches and the skin. So that is the webbing, socks and backpacks all finished, and as I'm going here I'm finding plenty of detail to paint. There's plenty going on, so I'm quite happy so far with what can be done. So I'll be moving on to skin, boots, helmets, rifles, things like that. That's when I'll come back and show you how the finished figures look, and then after that we'll move on to getting them based. So here is the completed platoon. I finished off the bases by painting them with a coat of dark sand, and now the surface being as it is, very, very fine and grainy, you apply this as a thick wash basically, and it just draws it off all around the particles that are on the surface. It works really quite well. You don't have to put on lots of paint that's perhaps going to make it look less grainy. So I did that, let it dry, and then I did a wash, an enamel wash of Humbrol sand, and once again that's really runny to begin with. You know, enamel washes are exceptionally fluid, but it just followed a capillary action all around all these little lumps and bumps, and over underneath that is a nice smooth surface, so it flows out quite well, and you don't have to put big heavy coats on. Now also, as you can see, put some stones on once everything was dry, just a little bit of ground cover, a little bit of it's one of the, let me think, what is it now, winter stroke dead static grass from Gale Force 9. Just a few clumps of that around it. So basing it is a fairly easy and straightforward process. You end up with a nice sandy finish, and it's durable as well. I wouldn't recommend dry brushing it. Excuse me, try to stay on target. I wouldn't recommend dry brushing it. Like, you're going to take some surface off, and you know, the base, you shouldn't have too many points of light on the base anyway. So in general terms, once these guys are painted, I actually quite like how they've turned out. I know lots of people are going to have issues around the material and bendy guns. I've only an issue with one gun that was bent and stayed bent, and that was see if I can catch it here, a Thompson. Where is it? Thompson submachine gun. Perhaps it stayed bent just because it was thicker. Oh, there it is there. You can see it's noticeably bent, but everything else that was bent straightened out, and so far has stayed straight. So no worries on that point. You know, I think at the end of the day, with new materials such as this, people are going to have concerns, opinions. I think the most important thing you can do to be fully informed is to go and buy one of these, model it, paint it, and then see what you think. It costs so little. It's such a cheap unit to buy. I think is it something like £6 RRP in the UK. So give it a go. You just really need to invest a little bit of time, and I'll give you an idea of the direction the Battlefront may be going with their infantry in future. though to cover the entire range would take forever, so this is more likely to be new releases that's been made with this material. But any concerns I had have been addressed. My initial problems were around how to trim it, and the sharp knife did that. It's taken paint very, very well. It's got enough detail to paint them, in my opinion, very well. So it's not metal, it's not hard plastic, it's its own standalone material. I think it does well enough in that respect. It may or may not be your favourite material, depending on your experiences and preferences, but I think everybody should give them a go. But there you go, there's the end of the review. There is a how to paint guide. There's a link to it rather at the end of this video, so you can see me painting one of the Bren gunners start to finish. See how it takes the paint, see how to find the detail on the figure. So hopefully that's been of some use to you, and you never know, you might even have a go at these guys yourself.